Yeah, so we are just in front of St. Philip's in the Hills Church, and we have watched as hundreds have showed up really within the last 2 hours. I know one of the questions some people asked us as we showed up was, are we going to see the Guthrie family here? Other people have asked us that as well. And we were actually able to find some information posted on the church's website that said they did not expect the family to show up here, and we have not seen a member of the Guthrie family walk inside this church. I was able to go inside. We're not allowed to film inside. There is a live stream of the vigil that's taking place. We can hear the music coming from inside the church. But I was able to see all of those people that have shown up, and I was able to ask, how many people are you expecting or could fill this part of the church? And they said they had room for 350 people. And when I was in there, it wasn't full yet, but that was about an hour ago, and now it's pretty full. They said they were keeping the doors open actually for overflow. So they were anticipating a lot of people coming here, and we were able to talk to people, some of them who didn't know the Guthrie family, some people who knew Savannah well, because if people will remember, obviously Tucson is Savannah's home, but it's also a place where she worked, and the local news community has shown up. Some people who used to work with Savannah actually coming here tonight to hand out hundreds of candles, and we are seeing those as you kind of look inside the door as well, and people just talking about how much they wanted to show up and show support for the family. But I also want to let you know, some people we spoke with said they are on high alert these days as they leave their home. They are looking for anything that could be out of place because their goal is to find Nancy, and they want to help in any way they can. The mood here is pretty somber, people sharing hugs, and obviously people praying. Lots of people mentioning Savannah's faith as well, some telling us that they believe it is her faith that will get her family through this moment.
And do we know if this was the church that Nancy would go to? Because this is really how the entire investigation began, because she didn't show up to church on Sunday, and it was folks at the church apparently who alerted her family that she did not show up. So is this the church, and how far are you from Nancy's home?
We are not far. I don't know the exact distance, but I will tell you, according to the church, this is not where Nancy Guthrie attended service, but there is a family connection with this church here as well. So people feeling this here in the community, and people feeling the urgency as well. But, you know, I've been listening to your show, and others have been urging patience and waiting for all of the details to come out.
Absolutely. Ashley Holden, Scripps News Group in Arizona tonight. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Still with us here, we've got Daryl Cohen, Meg Strickler, Josh Schiffer in studio. I wanted to show you some video that has come in this case, and I think this is really significant. News Nation's Brian Anton got video today of the crime scene tape going back up at Nancy Guthrie's house. Let's take a look.
They were rolling. So the crime scene tape is going back up outside Nancy Guthrie's house. About a dozen sheriff's deputies and FBI. I think FBI showed up here. There's also a dog, canine. We have our drone up, so I should have better video in a second, but there's another team of officers that came in this van.
Okay, to me this is significant. Why now? We heard the sheriff who had released the home back to the Guthrie family, and that was Monday night. Here we are Wednesday, the tape's going back up, and my understanding is that the search is focused on the outside. You've got the canines.
Huge problem to go back, to have a need, a justification to go back and re-secure a scene. And it makes me worried for the investigation, because in all of these cases where our viewers get the most angry because a certain full-strength case falls apart, where does it fall apart? The investigation. And so that really makes me worried when you see officers come back out. Means they've got new information, something changed. There's a justification for them.
Well, that's the question, right? Is it new? Do you think it's new information or new investigators?
I think we're talking FBI. I think we're talking new investigators that have a greater breadth, more knowledge in the overall picture, and I think that's what happened. But I agree with Josh. Once you remove the crime tape, then all of a sudden there's intrusions upon the property, and there may be stuff that was there before, evidence that was there before that's trampled. There may be new evidence that really has no relevance. It just contaminates the property.
This just makes me sad. I'm sad. When I see that, I just think, uh-oh. They got new information, but they're putting the tape up because they found something. Yeah, I agree, this is the scene, it'll be damaged, but there's now something to be found there.
Could it be?
What did they miss?
There's been talk that there were cameras on the property.
The missing ring camera, there were reports on social media of stuff that was observed that if it hadn't been recorded by law enforcement the first go-round, it certainly should have. And I worry about that. We've seen so many cases where material parts of the investigation were provided by the general public. And this started off as a missing person. We get lots of missing person calls. Then it became way more important. I worry about early investigations.
Now, Brian Etten with News Nation also got another video of the entryway of Nancy's house where you can see the possible blood, the missing ring camera that Josh is talking about, and the general disarray. This is the other question I have. Like, that blood is on the front there, right? There's things that look like they're out of place. And obviously, she hadn't shown up to church, and she was missing. There's a period of time. It's been reported about an hour between the time that the family goes to the house, does their own little search, and before they call police. Does that make sense to you? I'm thinking of it two ways. And one way could be, we see blood, oh no, did something happen to mom? Did she wander? We're gonna find her before we call police. Or do you see things that are broken? Do you think those things were noticed, the missing camera? And if that's the case, if you see the blood, you see a missing camera, and your mom is missing, do you call immediately?
I think you have to say that every situation is different, and the emotion runs so high. Where's mom? Oh my God, there's blood. What am I going to do? Do you or do you not notice the ring camera? I think even I, who I consider to be seasoned, I don't think I would look for the ring camera at that moment. Maybe a few minutes later, but not now.
Yeah, I think also that what's going to be telling is you're hearing that they got there at like 11 and they came to the house. But the video camera, the car that was seized, depends on what kind of car it is, but the car itself might have a black box these days. It'll say when it got to the house. So it'll corroborate, were they actually there an hour? And why? And these are some mysteries we need to answer.
And you can really tell by how the hour is presented. It's either, and then within an hour they called law enforcement, or they waited a whole hour before call. And you can post that.
See how lawyers can spin the same fact in two completely different directions, right?
Well, not only that, we can say it's your birthday, and somebody may or may not believe it.
Exactly.
Is a Vinnie Colleton birthday.
All right, all right. The birthday all of a sudden brought everything down. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, with what we're looking at here, there was also the big bombshell from yesterday, which was the ransom letter, right? There's a ransom letter that was received by our parent company, our affiliate out there in Phoenix got it, another station got it, TMZ got it. I haven't heard anyone say it's not legitimate. I haven't heard anyone say that it is legitimate. And here are a few more details about it that we've got up on the screen for you. Let me see if I can find them. I got to find them. Here we go. We received, Scripps News Tucson received the ransom note referencing Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother. It makes a specific demand for several $1 million in Bitcoin by Thursday, tomorrow, and threatens to kill her if payment is not received by Monday, which in and of itself is kind of strange, right? It also makes specific reference to 2 pieces of evidence at the crime scene, which we cannot authenticate as legitimate. K-Gun has forwarded the full contents of the note to investigators and authorities. So is the key, and I think the key, right, to the legitimacy or potential legitimacy of this note or message would be whether or not the 2 pieces of evidence at the crime scene are authenticated by sheriff's deputies. The note apparently is from after the crime scene was released. You troubled by that at all?
I'm troubled by everything, but I also know that law enforcement, the authorities must, and I underline the word must, give credibility and credence to that ransom note.
Oh, they have.
And they have
but
to
they haven't
continue
said
to do
it
so.
one way or the other,
Yep.
whether it's legit or illegit. Does that tell you anything if they haven't said already, this is not real?
I think they're taking their time, and they're going to also see. I heard it was.
But you
emailed.
can't take your time. It's Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. These guys, they want their money. They'll take an extra minute to wait for you to, because they have to figure out how to get to the Bitcoin ATM. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't agree with.
But it depends on the mentality of the alleged kidnappers. You know, if these are some whacked out, drugged out, crazy people, which is on one end of the spectrum, or if they are sophisticated professionals who know what they're doing. Totally different interpretation of a note like that. The important part is take your time, make sure that she remains safe, and don't give away the farm by talking about what the conclusions of law enforcement are. Keep them guessing.
Now, there's two ways, right, to look at this, because you're saying abduction, the sheriff said abduction. It could also be a body removed from a murder scene, right? That's another possibility here. Unfortunately, I mean, we have to deal with what the possibilities are, which gets into what we are looking at here. Are we looking at a case of someone being abducted for a reason, which could be ransom, which could be even more nefarious than that, or
It's domestic. And something happened, they drank too much, and something bad happened, and then they had to deal with the body, and they're like, oh my God, what happened?
And I don't know if anybody's familiar with a little thing then getting compounded as soon as the cover-up and lies start, because it starts with a generic, innocent interaction, an injury or something goes wrong. Next thing you know, you're starting to make up lies, take actions, and start this whole ball of criminality rolling down the hill. That's how you end up accidentally or unintentionally kidnapping and murdering people and saying, I really didn't mean for this to happen that way, but it did.